My husband's family wanted to host Thanksgiving. I asked if I could bring my famous mac and cheese. His sister said, only if you don't mind it sitting next to the real version. I showed up with mine anyway. By the end of the night, hers was untouched. I packed it up for her and said, here, you can use it as a doorstop. My husband's family is obsessed with tradition. Every year, they do Thanksgiving at his parents' house in Richmond, Virginia. Same menu. Same table setup. Same everything. It's not even potluck style. Usually, his mom and sister do most of the cooking, and everyone else just brings wine or desserts. So when I married into this family, I was ready to just play along. I didn't want to rock the boat. But I also love cooking. I've been perfecting my mac and cheese recipe for years. It's not from a box, not just cheddar and noodles. It's rich, creamy, has a crunchy top with herbed breadcrumbs, and I use a blend of cheeses like smoked Gouda, sharp white cheddar, and a touch of cream cheese to make it silky. People rave about it. The first 2 years, I didn't offer to bring anything besides wine. I kept it easy. Just smiled and nodded when Jessica, my husband's sister, talked about how her secret family recipe, mac and cheese, was the best in Virginia. Whatever. I didn't care. But last year, I thought, you know what? Let me be part of this more than just showing up with Pinot Grigio. So I sent a message in the family group chat about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Hey, would it be okay if I brought my mac and cheese this year? It's a hit at every gathering, and I'd love to share it with you all. I waited. The first few replies were polite. MIL. Oh, that sounds delicious. Husband's cousin. Yum. Love mac and cheese. Then, Jessica. Sure. Only if you don't mind it sitting next to the real version. I read that twice. I stared at it, thinking, what the hell is the real version? Are we 5 years old? Who even says that? My husband saw it too and just raised his eyebrows. I didn't reply right away. I wasn't trying to start drama. But my blood was boiling. Like, girl, you're threatened by mac and cheese? I eventually responded with, no worries, I'll bring it. More options are never a bad thing. No reply after that. She didn't even like the message. So fast forward to the night before Thanksgiving. I spent hours making this dish. I grated the cheese by hand. I made the roux from scratch. I layered everything, added breadcrumbs, baked it until it was bubbling with that perfect golden brown top. It smelled like heaven. We got to his parents' house around 1 p.m. Jessica was already there, in the kitchen, stirring something aggressively on the stove. She barely said hello. I walked in with my dish and placed it on the warming tray next to hers. Now listen. I'm not even being petty. But side by side, hers looked like cafeteria food. Pale yellow, kind of mushy, and dry around the edges. Mine? You could see the gooey layers of cheese and crispy topping. It was night and day. Dinner time comes. Everyone's lined up buffet style in the dining room. Turkey, stuffing, green beans, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce, and the 2 mac and cheese dishes. I didn't say a word. I just watched. And y'all, people went in on my mac and cheese. Like, generous scoops. I watched cousins take second helpings. People were complimenting it left and right. This is amazing. OMG, who made this? Best mac and cheese I've had in a long time. My mother-in-law asked me for the recipe. Someone even said it tasted like it came out of a gourmet restaurant. Meanwhile, Jessica's dish? Barely touched. I think 2 people took a tiny scoop, and it sat there, drying out and looking sad. The best part? At one point, someone asked Jessica, did you make the mac and cheese? And she had to awkwardly say, no, mine's the one in the corner. After dinner, as people started lounging and cleaning up, I walked over to the kitchen. Jessica was standing at the counter, quietly scraping the edge of her casserole dish. I picked up her tray, smiled, and handed it to her. Here, take it home. You can use it as a doorstop. Her face. Priceless. She didn't say anything. Just blinked at me. My husband was across the room watching, and I could feel him trying not to laugh. And that was it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't start anything. I just let my mac and cheese speak for itself. Later that night, My husband told me she called him rude and disrespectful for letting me show off. He told her she brought food like everyone else. If you're mad hers got eaten, that's not her fault. To this day, Jessica hasn't directly spoken to me since. And honestly, I don't care. I've got the recipe, the confidence, and the satisfaction of knowing her real version got bodied by mine in front of the whole family. So, the next morning, I woke up feeling pretty good. I didn't mean to humiliate Jessica, but I wasn't about to feel bad for simply existing and bringing good food. My husband was sipping coffee at the kitchen table and scrolling through his phone. "Babe," he said, "you might want to stay off Facebook for a while." I raised an eyebrow. "Why?" He handed me his phone. Jessica had made a public post, not in the family group, but on her actual timeline, visible to everyone. It said, "Nothing worse than someone trying to hijack family traditions for attention. Some people can't just enjoy the holidays without turning it into a competition. Anyway, store-bought cheese and drama don't belong on the Thanksgiving table." I read Jessica's post 3 times. My hands started shaking not out of fear, but from pure rage. Hijack family traditions? Store-bought cheese? First of all, my mac and cheese was 100% homemade, from scratch. And second, who publicly calls someone out without saying their name, thinking nobody would catch on? Everyone knew who she meant. It didn't take long. Her cousin Rachel commented under the post, "Are you talking about my name, S mac and cheese?" Because that was fire, LOL. A few more comments followed. Some subtle, some not. People were laughing. Others were tagging me. One even said, "I hope the real version wasn't the dry one in the corner." Because yikes. I didn't respond publicly, but I screenshotted the whole thread, saved it, and decided I wasn't going to play this quietly. That evening, we had leftovers and wine hang out at my in-laws. It's their thing. Everyone comes back the next day to eat the same food, talk about the day before, and chill in sweatpants. I almost didn't go. My husband said I didn't have to, but I wanted to. I wanted to walk in with my head high. And I did. As soon as we walked in, Jessica looked up from the couch, gave a short glance, then kept scrolling her phone. Didn't say hi. Not even a fake smile. I brought a new dish of my mac and cheese leftovers from the night before that I reheated and retopped. Same delicious smell. And again, people piled it onto their plates. Someone even whispered, "Glad you brought more." I didn't get enough yesterday. Jessica sat there with a salad. Ate nothing else. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. My mother-in-law pulled me aside into the kitchen. She looked uncomfortable. "I'm going to ask you something," she said. "And I hope it doesn't upset you." I nodded slowly. "Would you be okay not bringing food next year?" My stomach dropped. "What?" "It's just Jessica feels overshadowed. And she said Thanksgiving has always been her thing. She's been hosting and cooking since before you joined the family. She feels like this has turned into a contest." I stared at her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "She made it a contest," I said. "I asked nicely to bring one dish." She's the one who made the snide comment. She's the one who posted about me online. My ML sighed. I know it wasn't kind. I talked to her about it. But she's really sensitive about this stuff. And I just don't want Thanksgiving to turn into a battleground. So now I was the problem? For being good at cooking? I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just nodded, turned around, and walked back into the living room. Jessica was laughing at something on her phone with her brother. I stood in the middle of the room and said loudly, "Just so everyone knows, I've been asked not to bring food next year because someone feels overshadowed." Silence. Jessica looked up, shocked. "Are you serious?" "Yes," I said. "Apparently your ego can't handle mac and cheese." Her face turned red. "Wow, you're really going to do this here? You already did it. On Facebook." "So, I'm just returning the favor in person." My husband stood up and put his hand on my back. "Let's go," he said quietly. We left. I didn't say goodbye. didn't pack up the leftovers. I walked out with my head up and my casserole dish in my arms. So yeah, we walked out. That night, my husband and I sat in silence for a long time. He finally said, "You didn't do anything wrong." But damn, that went nuclear. I laughed, because if I didn't, I'd cry. Jessica made a war out of a side dish, and I let her pull me into it. But the next day, that's when I decided I wasn't done. I didn't go back online. I didn't post anything shady or start drama in public. No, I went quiet, which, honestly, is worse. Instead, I invited a few of the cousins, Rachel, her sister, and 2 others over to our house that weekend for Friendsgiving. I told them it'd just be food, drinks, and no drama. What I didn't tell them was that I invited my mom and 2 of my old college friends, one of whom is a local food blogger with a decent following. I made a full spread. Mac and cheese, roasted lamb, herb butter rolls, wine pairings, fall-themed desserts. The works. We had a blast. Laughed all night. And yes, we posted pictures. Lots of them. My friend the food blogger tagged me in a post that said, "Hands down, the best mac and cheese I've had this season." You don't need a family tradition when the food speaks for itself. That post blew up more than I thought it would. She had like 15K followers, and it got reshared a few hundred times. Suddenly, strangers were commenting things like, "Drop the recipe," and "I saw this drama from Reddit, is this the dish?" It got so much traction that my inbox started filling up. People asking for my recipe. One small local magazine even asked to feature it in their holiday spread. I said yes. Jessica lost it. She texted my husband directly, paragraphs full of rage. "So now your wife is trying to be famous off Thanksgiving? She's embarrassing this family. Your mom is hurt. She's ruining everything we've built." We both ignored it. Until his mom called, crying. "She's saying you did this to get revenge," she sobbed. "That you're turning the family against her." And you know what? Maybe I was. But here's where it backfired, because now my husband was mad. Not at me. At all of them. "This is insane," he told his mom. "You're blaming me because Jessica's food wasn't good and she got her feelings hurt? That's not our fault. That's hers. And if you don't start holding her accountable, we're done showing up." Silence. She didn't know what to say. We skipped Christmas that year. Jessica's post got taken down a week later. No apology. No text. But the family never fully recovered. And here's my mistake. I'll admit it, I let the petty win. I didn't have to host that Friendsgiving. I didn't need to go public. I did it because it felt good to win. But winning didn't feel great for long. Now holidays are weird. Half the family doesn't talk to me. Some still do, quietly, behind Jessica's back. My husband's relationship with his mom is strained. The cousins miss us, but they stay out of the drama. As for Jessica, she stopped hosting Thanksgiving. Apparently, she moved it to a private event with only a few family members. Small, quiet, and, according to Rachel, dry as hell. Nobody talks about the real version of anything anymore. And me? I don't bring mac and cheese to family functions anymore. I cater it for other families, because that magazine feature turned into catering gigs. I didn't plan to start a side business, but I leaned into it. Now every fall I take orders, bake trays, and drop them off to homes around Richmond. People love it. I even got a few wedding requests. I never speak Jessica's name again, and she never says mine. But last week, someone sent me a screenshot from her new Facebook bio. It says, "Just a girl who loves cooking and keeping family traditions alive," with a link to her new blog. She started a food blog. I checked it once out of curiosity. She posted a new mac and cheese recipe. It had smoked Gouda, sharp cheddar, herbed breadcrumbs, and cream cheese. Sound familiar? No credits. No mention of me. I smiled. And I didn't say a word. Because I know. And she knows. Sometimes the best revenge is watching someone copy you quietly, knowing they lost. and knowing you'll never forget.